shout out to the student loan doctor, young lady on Instagram and on YouTube. She really breaks this thing down. If you take a look at her, she really will break it down to you step by step. And she's had success before this with helping people get student loan forgiveness, or so shout out to her. But she was breaking it down by saying that I think you log into studentaid.org or .gov, and when you do that, there's two colors. There's, I think, a blue and a green. If you get two colors, I think it's blue and green. If you get the two colors, then that's $20,000. If you just have the one color, either blue or green, then it's $10,000. Welcome to the Clear in the Air podcast with D and Q.
I'm D.
And I'm Q. Man, listen. Student loans?
First of all, my brother, always a pleasure when we get together, be able to break bread.
Yes, sir.
Been a minute.
It has been.
Right.
Well, student loans is the topic
Right.
for today. It's a big topic. It's something that we're talking about in the government, on that level. Many who've attended school are impacted by this. And you have a personal story.
I do. I recently had my remaining student loans forgiven. So I'm going to talk about that process, and I'm going to share the information with y'all because it is time-sensitive information, but I think it's information that could benefit a lot of you that may have student loan debt. And this is different from what Biden is talking about with the student loan forgiveness and the $10,000 and extending the, I guess it's forbearance period? Forbearance period till the end of the year, I believe.
Mm-hmm. End of the year.
Yeah, this is something totally different. Some people may not know this information, which is why I want to give this information to y'all, because it's something that I personally benefited from.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you just broke that down, because I was just getting ready to say that it's two different situations.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Biden situation, and there's the situation that existed before the Biden situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad about that. Talk to us about I don't know if I want to say the resource or the method that you're speaking of. Talk to us about qualifications and all of that stuff.
Right, okay. So the program I went through, or what was offered, is called the PSLF program, and that stands for Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. So just to give y'all the backstory, it was offered to people like years ago, maybe like 5-6 years ago, and it's offered to people who who have a certain type of employment. So whether you're in the service industry, whether medical field, essential workers, that was obviously big during the pandemic, nonprofit, if you do things for your community, things like that. They pretty much offered a service to where your loans could be forgiven if you had made 120 consecutive payments. So 120 times 12 months, so that's 10 years worth of consecutive payments. So if you made 10 years worth of payments in a row, 120 consecutive, you could apply for this program and possibly have your loans forgiven. So that's the program I'm talking about, and the one I want y'all to, try to take advantage of. So when they first offered it, I went through the process, filled out the application, and I was denied. But it turned out that a lot of people were denied. I want to say almost like 90% of the people that applied for it was denied, right? And so it sort of just seemed like a sham. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got people excited to do this, especially people who were diligent about paying their loans every month and on time, to where, okay, you're going to reward people that have essential employment or doing good for the community or nonprofits. You're going to reward them by forgiving their student loans. But so many people were denied that people were just kind of, disappointed, felt defeated. And I believe most just continued to, pay their loans. So obviously, the pandemic hit. None of us saw that coming. So the pandemic hit, and also with the latest administration, their big thing has been student loan debt. That seems to be one of the important things that this administration is trying to address. And so, in conjunction with the pandemic, they extended the forbearance period. They kept extending and extending. I think it was August 31st, and now it's to the end of the year. But I got a letter in the mail saying that it was from the PSLF people, and I was like, oh, here we go again. Like, I ain't even, like, why y'all? But basically, the PSLF program was saying they made some amendments to the program, and I think they were casting a wider net of people that could qualify for the program. And so they were saying, fill out the stuff, and just try again, pretty much try again, try to fill out the stuff. And then, this time around it may be different from when you did it years ago.
So I think this is the final extension. Then there is, if you're getting $10,000 forgiveness or $20,000 forgiveness. Shout out to the student loan doctor, young lady on Instagram and on YouTube. She really breaks this thing down step by step, and she's had success before this with helping people get student loan forgiveness. She was breaking it down by saying that I think you log into studentaid.gov, and when you do that, there's two colors. If you get two colors, I think it's blue and green. If you get the two colors, then that's $20,000. If you just have the one color, either blue or green, then it's $10,000. I think there's also what your salary is. So if your income is $125,000,
right.
If you're single, you're good. If it's a dual house income, that's $250.
Right? Right.
Yeah.
But I think you gotta be under 125 to be eligible.
Less than 125 and less than 250. And this is the truth. I know I've talked to some people and they said, well, that's not fair. I guess you have to have some cap. Like there has to be some parameters around it.
Right.
So.
But again, the information I'm gonna give y'all has nothing to do with that. This is something that's totally different, which is why I want to share it with y'all, because I want y'all to take advantage of it. And again, it is time sensitive.
Yeah. So what you're talking about, tell us about that in terms of I'm going to call his option one, which is the non-Biden, okay, pre-Biden. What I just explained was Biden loan forgiveness. Okay, so I kind of broke down income, broke down the type of loans, and then also the amount, 10,000 versus 20,000. You said you have like a deadline and stuff too.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
So for the Biden option 2, you have to apply for that. It's not automatic. And then he's got something to tell you too.
Right. All right, y'all. So I'm about to tell y'all what y'all need to do, the steps y'all need to follow, right? So step number 1, this is the one that's very important and the one that's time sensitive. You need to go to studentaid.gov/PSLF waiver. That's what you got to do. You got to do that first. You have to fill out the waiver, and that is due by October 31st, 2022. So on Halloween, that waiver is due. That is the most important thing you got to do. You got to fill out that waiver. Okay? Now once you fill out all that, The second thing you have to do is you have to figure out if your loans are private or public. So for instance, my loans were private. So every time I would call about the Biden forgiveness, they would say, well, I'm not qualified because my loans were private. They only are for public loans, right? So with this situation, I was like, all right, I'm stuck again because I have private loans. What they're allowing you to do, they're allowing you to transfer your loans to a public company. And so the company I used was FedLoan, and that's the company that they recommend. So the second thing you need to do is find out if your loans are public or private. If your loans are public, you can go ahead and fill out the waiver and do what you need to do. If your loans are private, you need to go ahead and have those loans transferred to public. They're called direct loans. Another term for public loans are called direct loans. So that's the second thing you need to do. It's important that you get that paperwork in by the 31st because the process is going to take about 4 months. I think I did mine in May, and I just got my letter into August, September. So it's going to take about 4 months. But if you get the waiver in by October 31st, you good. It's just a waiting game, but you have to do that. You can do the loans and all that stuff after that, but none of that, all that's going to be null and void if you don't fill out the waiver by October 31st. Okay? So once you do that, you find out what kind of loans you have. If it's public, go ahead and fill out the information. If it's private, you have to get them transferred over. The next thing, you have to find out if your employment qualifies. And again, they've redone this program to where a lot of things, maybe some things that weren't eligible when they dropped years ago, it's now eligible. Because again, pandemic hit, this administration is pushing student loan forgiveness. So even if you don't think, just try it. First of all, the whole process is free. It's free.
Right.
Okay, there's no hidden costs, no anything. The whole process is free. All you have to do is take time. If you take time out and do what you need to do, you might have your loans forgiven. Okay? So find out if your line of employment qualifies. If it qualifies, you have to stay employed at that employer, whatever that line of work is. You have to stay employed while this process is going on. So if you're thinking about switching jobs in the next few months, you might want to hold off until this process is over. Okay? So make sure that you stay in the current job that you're in once you start this process. Okay? So once you do that, it's just a waiting game. You just got to be patient. And again, you might get letters saying, hey, we got your application, but you forgot this. So, try to fill it out as thorough as possible. You may get a letter say, hey, your loans have been transferred over to FedLoan. Okay? You're going to get so many letters, and each time you're going to want that letter to be like, hey, your loans have been forgiven. Your balance is zero. And you're going to think that letter may never come. Personal story for me, I actually got a letter that said I didn't qualify. And so again, here I am, this is deja vu. Because y'all done got me hype again. Y'all dogged me before, got me hype again, and the same thing happened. So I called them. And when I called them, they were saying, just be patient, because it just takes time. Once they get the paperwork and everything, they got to look through it, go back to the history and everything. And at that time, I wasn't even sure if I had made 120 in a row. I was diligent, stayed on top of it, but 10 years is a long time. So that's another thing. Even if you don't think that you've paid 120 payments in a row, still fill it out. Fill out the paperwork. Again, this administration, they're addressing student loan forgiveness. So even if you don't think you've made 120 consecutive payments, still do the process. You never know. You never know. If you're an essential worker and you were huge during the pandemic, But let's say you only made 5 years consecutive worth of payments, they may forgive it. Try it. Try it. Do not be discouraged. Do not be dismayed. Try it. Okay? And then after that, it's just a waiting game. So when I called, they were saying, hey, it's just a waiting game. Just because we denied it right now, we're just looking into it because we have to go back payments, this and that. And so just be patient. Be patient. Oh, I forgot. Another plus about this program, if you've made 120 consecutive payments and they forgive your loans, any loans you've made after 120, they're going to reimburse you for.
Any payments you made after 120?
Yes. So if you've made 12 years straight worth of payments and you fill out this program and they forgive your loans, guess what? You're going to get 2 years worth of money that you paid on these loans back. So anything over, if you've done 120, anything over 120 that you've done while you were in this program or while you qualify for it, they will reimburse you for.
Yeah, man, that's dope.
It's a win-win situation. The worst that can happen is you don't qualify and you have to continue paying your student loans, which is what you're going to do anyway. So you might as well try it again. I'm going to give you all the information. First thing you need to do, you need to go to www.studentaid.gov/PSLF waiver. You need to read that info, fill out the waiver and the application. It's just simple stuff. They're going to verify your employment, what type of loans you have. They're going to give you the information if you have private loans to switch them over to public. Again, they're probably going to recommend you go with Fed loan. I had no issues with Fed loan. The process was very simple and it just switched over. Now, I want this to hit home for y'all. So I finally got this letter in September. And right in the box, it says Public Service Loan Forgiveness Update with an exclamation point. So I read it and I want you to read it.
You want me to read this?
Yeah, you can read it.
Congratulations. On October 6, 2021, the Department of Education announced a change to the Public Service Loan Forgiveness (PSLF) program rules for a limited time that allows you to get credit for payments you've made on loans that wouldn't normally qualify for PSLF. As a result of this limited PSLF waiver, we conducted another review of your Public Service Loan Forgiveness and temporary expanded PSLF certification and application and payment history. We have determined that you have successfully made the required 120 monthly payments in order to have all or portion of your loans listed below forgiven.
In my case, what does that say?
All.
All.
You have satisfied your obligation and no additional payments are required on these loans. The reason why this hits hard for me is because, number one, my son has private loans. And I think he went through transferring them. I don't think he started the process of the waiver. And so he's done one part, and I think he refinanced, but I think he's refinancing and then now public loans. So with that being said and done, you need to go back to his part. And I'm going to be on you to make sure that you fill out the waiver. That being said, you know when you point, there's fingers that point back at you? He's been on me.
I've been on you.
He's been on me, and I have not done what I needed to do. So I went there too.
Yep.
And I got some loans.
Yep.
I left school with over $30,000 worth of loans. So I need to do this as well. And so we've talked about this in other podcasts, and we will talk about this more about accountability. having someone to hold you accountable for this, there's 28 to 31 days in the month. Okay, we all use these devices. I'm sure that a lot of times, the majority of us do not use it in a way in which we have someone holding us accountable for whatever goals we've set, whatever tasks that we need to get taken care of. So that being said and done, every day moving forward from today, Q, did you take care of it yet? Q, did you take care of it yet?
Yep.
Q, did you take care of it yet? Okay, you took care of it. Where along are you in the process? Accountability is everything with stuff like this, because I really feel like we're in a point in life where some of the situations or programs or instances in which we find ourselves, we may not see these things and like ever again. And if we don't take advantage of it now, we'll be kicking ourselves later. So I don't have to kick myself, and so my son doesn't have to kick himself.
Yep, I'm gonna be on you, bro. I have been, I will be. I have a script that I'm gonna send to all my friends in the text message that basically lays out step for step what they need to do. If y'all need that, just contact me. I pretty much laid it out here, but if you want it in writing so you follow it, just let me know. I can send y'all that script. Some of y'all may not know, but I have my master's degree, so a lot of that is where this is from. And so I want you to see that the total is close to $19,000. And what does my outstanding balance say? 0. So let me say that again. My balance was close to $19,000. I have $10,344.18, and then another one for $8,558.25. So that's pretty much close to $19,000, and my outstanding balance now is 0. And just to show y'all how official it was, maybe a day or two after I got this letter, I got a notification that an account was closed on my credit.
I was gonna go there
from my credit report.
Lord,
So it's official, it's legit. I don't ever have to make a payment on these loans anymore. Actually, the account has been closed, it's been zeroed out. So I've been wanting to spread this information to as many people as I can as soon as we can. So by the time y'all see this, you will have about a month, which is more than enough time to do what you need to do. You may have to get some paperwork from your employer, maybe a verification of employment, something like that. All of that is easy. Just go to your HR, do whatever you need to do. Again, once you fill out the application and the waiver, it's just a waiting game. That's all it is. But you have to do that by October 31st. Again, if your loans are private, just get them switched over to public. If you don't think you've made 120 payments, do the process anyway. Again, because they're addressing student loan forgiveness, they may bend a little. It doesn't hurt to try. There is no cost. There is no hidden fees. There's nothing. I didn't pay anything to have this done. I just had to wait and be patient. And I implore y'all to do the exact same thing.
Y'all have heard the saying that nothing beats a failure but a try.
Yep.
Let's try, y'all. Let's try. Again, a lot of us, there's so many of us. My son, like, he was stressed out. Not to put his business out there and we get ready to clear the air, but you're talking about $500-600 in loans. Like, that's more than a car payment, and it's moving inching towards.
Oh, that's a month.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So you're talking about moving and inching toward what you pay in rent. And so, you know, pandemic and all of this stuff where people, your pockets have been stretched anyway. Some people have lost jobs, been laid off. Having this as a relief is everything. So let's clear the air. We talked about accountability. He gave a whole lot of different steps. I mean, he mapped it out. And you can say, oh, well, you're not a, for those who will try to say, oh, well, you're not, you know, a specialist. I mentioned the student loan doctor, young lady on Instagram, on social media. This is what she does. Even though this is not what he does, it's what he did. And you don't need to be an expert for this. We fill out applications for stuff all the time.
All the time.
All the time, you know. So if that's the case, Why not do this for something that has many of us bogged down? You're talking about medical stuff on our credit reports, student loans on our credit reports. And just imagine, we know it's not cheap to go to school. So just imagine, like he said, having that removed off your credit. Now, normally, you don't want stuff to be removed or closed on your credit report. This you do.
Correct.
This you do.
Correct.
Okay, and I know what that price tag says on for mine. So just imagine your credit going up, and all you did was fill out a waiver and follow a process. So that being said, guys, reach out to us if you've got questions, things you don't understand. Again, the Student Loan Doctor on Instagram and YouTube. She breaks things down and has been doing this for some time. But again, if you have an individual, sometimes we feel like, you know, certain people, they're too starish. They're stars, so I can't reach them. I can't relate. I'm sitting right next to this man. I went to the same school as this man went to. If it doesn't hit any closer to home for me to just take the action and make the effort, come on, man. I don't know what's going to help me out. So, and again, in talking about clearing the air, I'm a father. I have this as a concern. I just told you I have a son who has this as a concern. If you don't do it for you, do it for those that are going to come behind you.
Yep. And use me as an example, because I did it. It works. Right? So, and again, all you have to do is fill that out and just be patient. And I know patience is a virtue. You're going to get a bunch of letters, and you hoping that letter is the one. And then you get one that's saying you didn't qualify. You might have to call. But just be patient, y'all. I'm telling you. Do it. Be patient. You'll be glad you did it. You'll be glad you did it. Before we end, bro, homecoming season is coming up, too. So, we got, you know, we did it last year. You know, we went back to our alma maters. We got some things lining up this year, since we are talking about college and everything. So, we just want y'all to stay tuned to that. Got some things we got lined up as far as homecoming season.
And the way you stay tuned, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. For the audio experience, make sure that you're checking us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. You know you can catch clips on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Q from Clearing the Air Podcast. Hey, listen, we want to make one update. We just dropped the episode of student loan forgiveness, and there has been a change to Biden's loan forgiveness, okay? We just want to make sure that you know we're not putting out wrong information. There's just been a change after we recorded this episode. So please make sure that you're paying attention to the updates and what that means for you, to you, and make sure that you have the correct information. Make sure you're getting updated on what's going on with the new situation with the Biden loan forgiveness. My co-host D is telling me to make sure I tell y'all, make sure that you pay attention to the date for the PSLF loan forgiveness. Don't forget about that. Remember, there were two versions of loan forgiveness. Don't forget about that update, October 31st. Get at it and get those loans forgiven. Peace.